Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Monday. It's July 1st. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And before we get started on the chart lesson, a couple of housekeeping issues we probably need to discuss. This is July 4th week. The market is actually has an abbreviated day on Wednesday, closed on Thursday, and then doesn't open back up till Friday. So um, I think Friday's going to be a regular day, but usually when you have a holiday like that that falls on a Friday and the market's opening back up, it's usually another holiday-like day. So I doubt I'll trade. I'll probably take Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off. So uh, anyway, no chart lessons on Wednesday and Thursday or Friday this week. We don't do them on Friday anyway. And like I said, Friday will probably be an abbreviated day. So I'll be taking the week off. Uh, tomorrow will be my last trading day. So no chart lessons on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday this week. So going to be a short week. We had a pretty good day today, which is good. When you have a short week, you like to have a good trending day like we did today. This was a relatively easy day to trade. Not a lot of trades, but the ones that are here are relatively straightforward, pretty good trades, pretty easy to find. They're all along this key entry point here. And so there's probably a couple of others you might argue for. There's actually there's actually one right here I could probably make green. I'll go ahead and mark it just so I don't forget to talk about it. I didn't mark it as green, but it could have been marked as green. There's probably a couple of others you could argue for in here as well. So um, anyway, let's let's back out a little bit, talk about the trades, and we'll wrap the day up. And like I said, no chart lessons Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday due to the July 4th holiday here in the U.S. It'll be quiet. Friday will be a full trading day, but like I said, I doubt there'll be much going on. You never say never because sometimes, but most of your traders will be on vacation Friday too. So even though the market will be open, I'm sure it'll probably be a quiet day. But anyway, let's talk about the trades. When I came in, we were trending up. We already had one leg up. We were working on a second one. We had this gap that we had to fill here, and even on this chart. But there's also the daily chart. There was a gap. This is where we closed the previous trading day, and this is where we opened. So there was a really big gap here, and you can see we didn't quite fill it yet. We came real close, but we didn't quite fill it. So. Um, but we came real close. So you would expect prices to probably try to trade down, especially after two legs up. We didn't quite get a measured leg up either. I would have, here's your first leg, and I'd look for a measured leg. And you can see we didn't really get, we just really had this strong resistance up here, and prices just turned down. So, um, but regardless of that, we were working on that second leg here. We had a trend line working up. You got a break. And then you got a higher low here. This actually went lower, then turned and went out the other side. So you may go long right there. It's a little bit aggressive. There's probably enough room to scalp out there entering right here. I wouldn't wait till this bar to close and then try to enter because you don't have enough room. And then the same thing here. There's a failed second entry short here, which generally may be enough to push it on through. But notice you would have turned right back down at that high and had to push up one more time before you got enough to get out. So it's really risky. Both of those are a possibility, but I'd probably skip them both. And of course, we had the break and a couple legs up and a new high, and then we pushed right through the EMA, pulled back, and actually broke higher and turned and went down. You could go short one tick below this bar or wait for this to close and put a sell stop right there. Either way, that's a quick, easy trade. You definitely would have had a runner on this. Of course, it did come back here, and I believe it would have stopped you out here. But I'm not. When I had a runner run this far, I'm not letting it come back and stop me out at break even anyway. So once you got that break in that new low, I would have exited on the next break higher. I would have tried to ride this down as far as I could, but once you had that break in new low, that's probably where you'd want to exit. I would have just started moving my buy stop down, and when it broke higher right there, it would have stopped you out. And you would have got, I mean, if you can get all but, let's just see how many ticks are in that bar. Well, there it is. Um, that is 4 ticks. So if you got all but 4 ticks out of this trade, that's you can't you can't hardly get much better than that. You can't get it all. So if you can get it down to getting 4 ticks, you've done pretty good. Or even if you exited here, you would have probably got all but maybe 8 ticks. So that's still pretty good. But anyway, that's probably the way I would have handled that. Then it bounces. Um, there's a second entry right there, but not a very good signal bar. Then you're just kind of going sideways. It did break higher right there, but it didn't turn down. So I just draw my trend line there. Notice it does fit on the low side here. And then, of course, we pull back right here. But notice what happens. You move down. You get a first entry. So you got a lower high here, but you're right into the lows. It's almost a double bottom. I would wait, and then it pulls back, gives you a failed second entry short. Now you got enough room to get out. Doesn't matter. It takes off again, and you get another runner. So you could have just, if you called either one of those trades, you got 2 trades that move for, multiple points and runners. And so that would have been really all you needed for the day if you catch those 2. Then it bounces again right back to the trend line, and he goes short once, and then you break higher and turn back down. That's not a great second entry, but it's still off the key entry point. It's still a second entry. It's still a big bearish bar. I like going short there. Notice how it gapped over right there, but notice it pulls back, and there's a lower high right here. You really could have entered there as well, but if you did enter there, that's great. You could enter either place. I didn't mark it, but let me go ahead. I'll put one there. Really, you wanted to enter here, but you may have had to let it back up to enter right there. And if I'm going to let it back up, I'd probably put it 1 tick back in there. I don't know. But then you get your failed second entry long and a little double top there and another big bearish bar. So that was a great place to go short too. The only little concern about this failure, but because it's a failure, it really doesn't matter. But notice there's those matching lows right there. That makes it a little bit suspect. But with that being a failed second entry long and a big bearish bar, I'm probably going to take that trade. I don't think I'd have traded that one when it pulled back. But now you get your break, but you got a double top there, so you can count that as a new high and another failed second entry long on your first break. So you could take that one too. There's not a lot of room to that low, but you got to figure we're probably headed down to here. So you may take that trade. Of course, that's the low of the day. You can see where I had it marked there. Originally, I had it 1 tick lower, but I moved it up. Maybe that's 2 ticks. I don't know. But I moved it up based on these closes here, and you can see it fits a little better there. But you bounce up here. You just get a first entry. It is right at the key entry point, but I just about wait on a second entry. You get a second entry right here, but you're just going sideways now. But then it tries to go higher once, tries to go higher twice. You get a double test of that level, and little failed break higher right at the key entry point. That's where I'd go short, and boom, off it goes again. And again, you would have had another runner here. There's a lower high here, but look at all that overlap going sideways. You have to go low right into the low with matching lows. That's never a good idea. Comes back here. That's the first break of this trend line, but we just came off the low, and you really could almost call that 2 legs back, even though you made a little lower low there. It's not a great setup, but that's another one you might consider. I'll mark it green. If it had have turned down and broke right below that bar, I would have liked it even more. But because you got the 2 matching lows there and it couldn't break below, that's a little concerning. But it is 2 legs back to the EMA, and it is the first break of that. That's a pretty good trend line working down through there. So there is enough room to get out here before you get back down to the trend channel line. Then of course we bounce, and you almost get a little bit of a I wouldn't call it a repeat, but it does look similar to that pattern right there. We kind of traded down into this one and we traded up into this one, but it's still a similar pattern working sideways over back to the key entry point. And look how many times we tested that high. There's actually a second entry right there. But notice how everything's closing above that EMA right across there. That one, that one, that one, and even this one's questionable. So I don't think I would have taken that short right there, especially above the EMA. If it's below here, the fact that we've already had that break and that low, we're probably coming back to this trend line. So just like here, it's kind of questionable. I'd wait for it to come back. And when it finally touches it and turns down, it actually broke higher, touched that trend line, turned down, and went out the other side. I like going short one tick below that, or you maybe even a sell stop below these. But there's three matching lows, so I'd probably want to see it break below this bar. And of course it does, and it drops on down. And you would have had a runner here, although you wouldn't have got a whole lot out of it. I would have probably drawn my next trend line just like that. And once we got a close outside, I would have put a buy stop there. And if we broke higher, I'd probably exited. And that got you into the 2 o'clock hour. So there is a second entry short right here. You're not back to the key entry point. It's fairly bullish bar. It would have worked, but you don't want to go short there. There's actually a little short-term trend line working up there. Just not a good place to go short. We actually got a pretty good bounce there late in the afternoon, but anyway, pretty good trend, downtrend. I really thought we'd probably get a range day today, but it didn't surprise me either that we tried to fill this gap, especially with it gapping on the overnight, on the 24-hour chart here as well. When you get a gap on that and the daily chart, there's a good chance we're going to fill that gap. And even though we didn't quite fill the gap on the daily chart, we got really, really close. So pretty good trading day. Pretty straightforward. Notice how the EMA is pretty much straight down all day. Prices are relatively consistently below it. We came above it a few times, but they turned down right at the key entry point. So when prices are consistently below the EMA like that and it's pointed straight down like that, that's a downtrend. So you want to go with it. I don't see any longs I would have liked in here. Not until we broke this and we knew we were, having a reversal pattern, which we never really got until here. And then even then we didn't really get a reversal pattern. It just reversed and took off. So not a bad day. Hopefully we'll get another good day tomorrow. Hopefully it won't be too slow tomorrow going into that holiday. But I'm going to wrap it up, and we'll be back again to do it tomorrow, and we'll wrap up our week. And but I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.